Well, thank you everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, it's great also to hear the first pitch. It's really fantastic work that you're doing, and I do hope that we're not here sort of competing against each other really, because if we are, yours is definitely a really great cause. So, a little bit of introduction. I'll take you back 5 years ago. I was 27 years old back then. I was a teacher at a comprehensive state school in Dartford, where 3 weeks before the general election 2010, my boss, who was 34 years older than me, asked me if I was going to vote, to which I replied to him, "Dave, don't be silly, I don't vote, politics doesn't affect me." He cut me down very simply with a few simple explanations as to why I should care about politics. So I turned my attention to the young people at that particular school. 85 of them, all could vote, no one was going to. And it seemed obvious that this was a niche market, that no one was really getting done right, because we had so many young people not voting. We then built up a small movement, solution-focused, mainly based on volunteers, and 2 years into the movement, when I finally quit my job to roll it out full-time, I met Oliver, who stepped in and performed his great role.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, my name is Oliver Sadorchuk. I was a volunteer 3 years ago, and I'm now the policy coordinator at Bite The Ballot. My job is to implement what we learn on the ground from our grassroots community engagement officer network that we have in 10 local councils, push up the young people's issues that they care about into Parliament. So part of my job is to push youth issues, and part of my job is to push democratic reform, because this country really does deserve easier, more engaging and more accessible voter registration. So our pitch tonight is £6,000. We need £6,000 to hire 4 recent graduates to help us expand our community engagement officer programme across the UK. That means 4 people, but £1,500 per person is matched by Santander UK. So your £6,000 tonight actually means to us £12,000, which enables to go to the four highest under-registered areas of the UK, where we know that under-registration is highest and under-representation in terms of the MPs that go to Westminster is worst off.
So what impact does our on-the-ground community make? Well, they're the heartbeat of Bite the Ballot, really. The community engagement officers, named that way because we really like the idea of people running around Cornwall saying I'm the CEO of Bite the Ballot. But they are the direct liaison between the local authority and the community groups in the area. They are reaching out to the churches, the mosques, the youth clubs, the pupil referral units, and going into schools and following what we create nationally but on a local area. So, Leaders Live. In our 5-step simple strategy to engage people, we start off with engagement. You can't go to a so-called apathetic young person and start talking about politics. You can't command their attention in that way. You need to engage them. One route in, let's talk about the issues. They care passionately about issues that affect them on a day-to-day basis. They just don't make the connection, and that's where we come in. Leaders Live was a flagship project which we brought the leaders of the 5 main political parties online and had idols and influencers in the audience that could act as a mouthpiece for their fans. And we galvanised people on Twitter. We had 1.8 million minutes of this footage watched. It was a fantastic achievement. We then drew our attention, once you've engaged someone, you have to register them. Our manifesto writers will obviously draw their attention to the people that are votes worth winning, and our youngest citizens are just not there. So we launched National Voter Registration Drive. In its first year, we registered 50,000 people on a modest budget of £9,000, making it 18 pence a registration. That was when you had to register using a paper form. This year, this was one of the greatest achievements, having it on Big Ben, on Feb 4th, ahead of the day itself. We registered a staggering 441,000 people, and we did it at a cost of £200. Why? Because we understood the internet. We moved people around the internet. We worked on social referral, and we really tried to inspire our younger citizens to make that first step. Registration isn't just the gateway to vote. It also ensures a representative jury service. It puts the individual at the heart of their credit rating and identity. Our next project, really, once you've engaged and registered someone, is to educate. And Verto, we launch tomorrow, our new voter advice app to enable people to see where the political parties may align with their values and views. Why have we told you about the 3 flagship projects? Well, it's because these are the tools that we empower our community engagement officers to go in to where they need to meet the community and use these tools, whether it's sessions in schools, whether it's playing the games, and galvanising people to talk, share their views and opinions, and realise that they are the heartbeat to change and evolve our democracy.
And one of our best examples of doing this so far is in Birmingham. Southson can't be here tonight, but Southson is our Birmingham Community Engagement Officer. Southson has done Leaders Live Local, National Voter Registration Day, and is together with us launching Verto tomorrow in Birmingham. And if we can get this right in Birmingham, and Southson is racing ahead, even as a part-time employee, registering hundreds of people a week in the hardest, most worst off hit areas in the second city of the UK, we can do it everywhere. And what we really want to say to you guys tonight is, it can be done. And this isn't rocket science. Mike's talked through the 3 steps, but the last 2 steps of inspiring and turning out is why we're here and is why we need your help.
The problem, well, we don't want to focus too much on the problem. The fact is that 5.6 million potential voters and only a quarter are looking as though they're going to turn out. We need to increase that, but it's not rocket science. We get it right, and the main fundamental fact is peer-to-peer engagement. So with your help, we can put more people on the ground in their communities, galvanising and allowing our young people to lead the democratic evolution we so much desire. Thank you.